Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel, and we are picking up on the full English breakfast Sudoku set by Michael Lefkowitz. Now, we are in the third video, yet this is the fourth puzzle. I did two in the first video and one in the second video. There are 5 total for this one. If you want to go back and look at the first 2 videos that have been posted already by the time you see this, go back on the channel and take a look at those. You don't have to. These don't have any correlation to each other other than they just have some similar concepts behind them in terms of sums. So this one, which is the fourth of 5 in the set, is called Breakfast Sumwich. And again, it's by Michael Lefkowitz, I said that. And we've got 6x6, so normal 6x6 Sudoku rules apply here. So every row, every column, every 2x3 box contains the digits 1 through 6 once each. Now, sumwiches. Each sumwich, which are these guys right here, shows the sum of the digits that appear in between the highest and lowest digits in its row. And the same is true for its column. Okay, so what that means is essentially whatever this digit is the sum of, let's say, well, the highest and lowest digits in any row or column are going to be 1 and 6. So 1 and 6. Let's just put this as an example. It doesn't mean that's correct, obviously. So whatever these 2 digits in this row equal, because these are the 2 between the highest and lowest digit, those sum up to whatever this digit is. The same is true for the column in this one. It's the same for the row here, the column here, the row here, and the column here. And then the other rule set is arrows. So digits on the arrow, which are these guys here, sum to the digit in the attached sumwich, which is that guy. So add these together, you get that one. And those are the rules. So let's get started on this one and see where we get. So what is the best way to look at this? I guess the most obvious thing to point out is that a 1 can never be on a sumwich. And the reason that is if you put a 1 in the sumwich, whether you look at it by a row or a column, it doesn't really matter. Let's do this one and look at the column. Let's say you put a 1 here. Well, no matter where you put the 6, if you put it here, that means the sum of the digit between those 2 is 0, so this is wrong. If you put the 6 down here anywhere, the sum between the 1 and the 6 would be whatever this digit is, which obviously can't be a 1. So 1 is ruled out of sumwiches. That is the first thing to look at. Can 6 be ruled out as well, as it's the polar opposite of the 1? I don't think you can. If you ruled out 6s, that would mean the sumwich has to be 2, 3, 4, or 5. There's no logical reason why you'd rule out the 6, because you could have, yeah, because the digit could be, let's just look at that. Let's do a quick one. If this sumwich was a 6, and this was the 1, these 2 digits would just have to equal 6, whatever they may be, 2, 4. Obviously, that was what it would be in this one. That's not. They would be 2 and 4. So the 6 can go in a sumwich. Is there any reason why the 6... Why... Use your words, think it through. Is there any reason why this couldn't be anything other than a 6? Maybe is another thing to think about. Now, if I removed a 6 from this, we now have a situation where we have the 1 and the 6 are off of the sumwich. Could that ever work? Well, you could do 1 and 6 here, but then you have this digit would have to equal the sumwich. So that's the same digit in the column, which doesn't work. You can't put them side by side anywhere in the column, because between the 1 and the 6 there is nothing, so this would have to be a 0. So the only other option in this case would then be to put the 1 and the 6 on either side of the sumwich, which actually could work. Because if you put 1, 6 here, the digit that's in between the lowest and the highest digits, 1 and 6, would be the Sumwich itself. So that is a possibility. And just looking at if this was a 1 or a 6, that would actually remove this from being a 6. Because you couldn't do 1, 6 next to each other. And if this was a 6, then you remove the 6. But then in this case, this would also be a 1, 6, would it not? Because then this Sumwich would have to be whatever's between those two digits, which is that. But then, wait, what about this guy? If this was a 1 or a 6, like we kind of explained down here, you couldn't do 1, 6 with something in the middle because then this would break. Because whatever is there would be there as well. Now, if this was a 1 or a 6, it would have to be the 1, and this would have to be the 6, so that would work. Okay, so that is possible. So what can we, well, this can't be a 2. Let's get rid of that, because these would both have to be 1. It could be 4, 5, or 6. So what, okay, must be something here that's kind of determining what some of these could be. We know the 1, 6 can't be like that. We know it can't be like that. I'm just looking at this column right now because it's blocked off a little bit. We can't do that. We can't do that with 1, 6. Can't do this with 1, 6. Doesn't that then state that these have to be 1 and 6? Because nothing else will work. I think that's correct, which does remove the 6 from here. And it, like I said before, it removes the 6 from here. Because if this was the 1, this couldn't be a 6, and if this is a 6, this couldn't be a 6. So I think what I was looking at is what could be a possibility actually is what it has to be. Because there's no other way to make this column work. Like I said, you can't make this 1, 6, you can't make this 1, 6, you can't make this 1, 6, you can't make this 1, 6. But what if this was 6? What if this was 6? Because I think I said that previously. Now, the 1 would have to be here, right? There'd be no other way to do it. And then these two would have to equal to 6. They would have to be a 2, 4, which is force this to be a 3, 5. Then, well, this, I kind of don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole of choosing an option and then getting it. I did that in the last one a little bit, but I did not see any other way to do that. And now I'm making this video before that one posts, so I'm not going to be able to see the comments if you guys have already told me how I was stupid and didn't see something obvious. But I want to try to avoid doing something like this and see if there's any other logical way to figure this out. Because I think what I said is it's either 1, 6 like this, or this is a 6, and this is a 1. Those are the options. Now, how about this one? So if this was the 6, well, let's say this is a 1, 6. This is some digit. Maybe that's what we have to look at. What if this is 1, 6? And this is a digit. We then need to put 1 and 6 in some combination. Let's say it's like that. And these two digits have to equal whatever this is. They would have to be like a 2, 3 to equal a 5. That would actually work. Okay. So that is possible as well, without going too far down the rabbit hole. Let's look at this one. Like we said before, the 1 and the 6 can't be there. Can't put them next to each other. We can't put them side by side like this. So it's either going to be a 1, 6 here, or this is a 6 and this is a 1. Essentially what I'm saying is this, and this can never be 6. Because either this is a 1, 6 here, or this is a 6 and a 1. So these can be 6s, but none of these, or not that one, none of those can. Does that mean anything? I don't know that it necessarily does. Now, what if this was a 6? This would force this to be a 1, and this to be the 2, 4. Now, if this is the 1, this can no longer be that 6, so the 6 would have to go up. And that would take out 6s for everything and force that to be a 1. This would be a 2, 4 pair. This couldn't be 2 or 4. And I'd have a 6 somewhere up here. But how, wait, no, let me go back and start looking at this a little more objectively. This is on an edge in this row. So there never can be a 1, 6 around it. This just has to be 6. I think that was the obvious thing. Because how can you ever have... Because you either have to have 1 and 6 on each side of the Sumwich, or the 6 has to be part of the Sumwich, which we've determined by multiple variations of how things could work. So I think this just has to be a 6. Now, if this has to be a 6, this has to be the 1. These have to be 2 and 4. These have to be 3 and 5. This is not 3 or 5. Now, if this is a 6, I need to have a 1 there. And I have to put a... No, that won't work either. Can I make... Oh, no, I don't have to put a 1 here. And I think I just proved that it doesn't go there. We know a 1 can't go here, because then these 4 digits would have to equal 6. Now we know if I put a 1 here, that breaks it, because this would have to be a 6. If I put the 1 here, these would have to be 2, 4, which actually breaks it again, because that you can't put anything on this digit. So if this is a 6, this has to be the 1. But then that breaks it. Because these would have to be 1, 2, 3. So am I completely flawed in every bit of logic I've just looked at, or did I just make a slight misstep? If this was a 1, these would have to be 2 and 4, and that would break this. But if the 1's out here, this would have to be 1, 2, 3, and it breaks it. So I must have had some flaw in my logic. I thought I had something obviously there. Now the 1, I said the 1 can never be on a Sumwich. Was I wrong in that? No, because a 1 can't be on the Sumwich, so we can never add to 1. Because it has to be the highest and lowest digit, which are 1 and 6. So how would you ever do anything but a 6 here? How do you not have this be a 6? Oh, well, I just ignored some obviousness. Whatever, these could be 1 and 6, and these could add up to whatever this is. Yeah. Okay. So I think I've proven this isn't a 6, because I screwed it up. Does that matter? Does that work? Now, if that isn't a 6, Are we going to go? I think we're going to go back to this and say this has to be 1 and 6 now. Because there's no other way to get this to work in my brain. Now, this can no longer be a 6 again. And this has to be 1, 6. Now, this 1, 6 can't be a 1, 6 here. Could there be a 1, 6 here? No, because then this would have to be that. This can't be 1, 6, because these would have to add up to something weird. So this has to be the 1 or the 6. And we said this, the 1, 6 can't be, a 1 can't be on so much. So this is a 6. So I've gone a complete roundabout. And I think what I've done is figured out that that is correct. Terrible way of doing it, but I proved everything I thought was right was actually wrong. So therefore, the last thing that wasn't wrong was right. Interesting. So these just are what they are. So this digit has to be some... It has to be added up to. There's no way it could just be like this is a 6 and this is a 1 and whatever this digit is that digit. So this can never be a 2. This can never be a 3 or a 4 either, I think, because of that same thing. If this was a 6 and this was the 1, these would have to be 1, 2 to equal 3 or 1, 3 to equal 4. So I think I've proven that's a 5. Well, there we go. Now, we've got the 1, 6 here. These have to equal 6 because that's in between the 1 and the 6. So these have to be 2 and 4. They can't be double 3 and they can't be 5, 1. So this is a 3, 6 pair. Now, one of these is a 6, so there has to be a 1 out here somewhere and it has to equal up to 5. Now, the only way to equal 5 would be to have the 6 with a 3, 2 in between the 1. So if this was the 6, this doesn't work anymore. So this has to be the 3, this has to be the 6. Now this has to be a 2 to equal 5, and that has to be 1, and this has to be 4. Okay. This seems to be working now. I hope it actually is working. These are 3, 5, and that makes complete sense. These have to equal up to 6. They could be 5 or 1, and they could be 2 or 4. This can't be 1, this can't be 4. I know that doesn't do much, but it puts something out there that I can look at and ponder. So whatever this digit is, it just is it. Well, now though we have, this can't be a 1. Because we have a 1 here. So this can't be a product of whatever those are. Is what I'm trying to say, or whatever's between those two. So the 1 has to go down here somewhere. Now, if the 1 has to go down here somewhere, and it can't be here, because if this was a 6 and this is a 1, this and this digit would be the same. So that's out. You're in. You are not a 1. You are not a 5. Right? Yes. Well, they just have to be 2, 4, but I'll get to that in a second. Let's actually just not do that for a second. I want to go back to where I was. Now, we've got a 6 and a 1 here. We've got 2 digits that have to equal to something. A 4 will never work because the lowest digit I can put is a 2, which makes these two a 6, which we can't put a 6 here. So this is 2 and 4. Now that we've got this 2, we have to put a 3 here, and we have to put a 5 here, so we have to put a 4 here. That makes this a 2 and this a 3. These now have to be These have to be from 2 and 4. I'll come back to this in a second. These have to be 5 and 6. Now, there are no sumwiches on these lines, so I can't use that. Now we know this is not a 1. Therefore, it's either a 2 or a 5. It can't be a 5 because this would have to be 1. So this is a 2, which means this has to be a 4, which means this is a 2 and this is a 4. Now we've got to have some Sudokus. We can finish stuff up. 1, 1, 1, 1. That doesn't do anything about the 2s. Yes, this has to be a 2. That's all the 2s. 3s. No, 4s. Yes, that's a 4, which makes this a 3, and that a 5 and a 3. These have to be from 1, 5, and 6, not too useful. How about these two? 1 and 6, not useful. These two, 5 and 6, not useful. So let's go back through our Sudoku. The ones can't do. 2s are done. 3s are done. Okay. Did not see that one to start. 4s, I believe, are done. 5s, not. 6s are not. So then we've got to look here. We need to have a 1 and a 5. These are 1 and 5. Well, 6. Well, the 6 has to. Okay, I was not paying attention to this Sumwich. The 6 has to have a 1 somewhere. So this has to be the 1 so that these 4 2 can equal the 6. So that's 5. That's 6 and 5. This has to be a 6. This has to be a 1. This looks to be working. Thank goodness. 6A. And there we go. Okay. Well, I went through just about every train of logic erroneously before I got to the right answer, which is, I guess, not typical me, but it's something that happens. But in the end, we got there. And this was actually quite a fun Sudoku to do. It took a while for me to kind of wrap my brain about how those 1s and 6s had to interact. And I think this one being on an edge kind of forced me to look at those interactions to finally figure out a solution that did not break itself after about 2 moves. So, number 4 of 5 puzzles for this one. Number 5 is coming out sometime soon, hopefully. Probably get it done in the next couple of days. We'll see. Hope you enjoyed that one. Hope you got through it with maybe slightly less struggles than I did. Let me know anything you want to let me know in the comments below. And we will get that last video up and running soon as I stated. So, hope you all enjoyed it again, and see ya.